Hello, everyone. Happy Star Wars Day.
Let's see. Eh,
I came on tonight to join Tom Dog because I like Tom Dog. And I was
yes.
going to do my hair up for you guys with Princess Leia buns. And I got them done. And I realized that I can't wear headphones when I'm Princess Leia. So I had to take them out. So you had something special coming for you. And I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry that I wasn't able to do it. But I did try. You had something special coming for you, and I'm sorry. Terribly sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. You've got all the toys, so
Yes.
we're gonna go into this. I am a Star Wars fan, but I am epileptic and I get triggered by light things, including lightsabers and such. So I found out the hard way watching some of the Star Wars, the later movies, that I cannot watch them. I have
I am.
fallen down and just dropped and had seizures. So yeah, so I get to be the Padawan here for all of the newer Star Wars content.
That's
Led
okay.
through.
We will teach you well, and you'll learn a few things every now and then. With that being said, hey, how's it going, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Channel X, the only show on Thursdays that starts the weekend early. I am your host, Tom Dog 247. As always, I'm Tom Dog all day and Tom Dog all night. Woo! All right, and we have, where am I? There I am, and right over here to my, I believe my left, yes, my left, is a guest, and which is Carrie Sanders. Welcome to the show. First time being here on this to the dog house, and
Thanks.
welcome. And
Thank you for having me.
anytime, it's always a pleasure. And give a little why don't you go ahead and give a little introduction on who what you do, and and also you'll be able to plug your content as well too. So go ahead.
Okay. I'm Carrie Sanders. You can look me up if you want to on Facebook under Carrie Sanders. And I have a little crow as my avatar. So if you find that, you found me, and you'll find links to everything that I do from there. I'm a published author. I write mostly kind of gothic horror style stories. I'm also on the PBDC network. We do podcasts there, and the ones that I do are under the Owlite brand. Those are all just the whole brand is based around storytelling. So we do different shows that sometimes we just tell stories, sometimes we interview authors, movie makers, and stuff like that who tell stories. And sometimes I happen to show up randomly over on the Dorkening Podcast Network as well.
And
Oh,
speaking of the Dorkening, big shout out over to the Dorkening Podcast Network, where they have tons of stuff. Leo and the gang are just basically entertaining everybody and everything, and you definitely don't want to miss any of their content, especially splash pages, the midweek geeks, that there it is, midweek geeks, and other stuff. And you could check their you could check all their shows out on the Dorkening Podcast Network, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And big shout out over to my good friend Melly Playful and Tengu over on Melly Playful and Tengu on YouTube. If you love watching, if you love watching if you love video games and you love watching people playing video games, then Melly Playful and Tengu are the ones that will entertain you with a lot of video games that they play, and they have a lot of fun doing it as well too. So check it out over on their YouTube channel at Melly Tengu and Playful. And this episode is brought to you by where is here it is. M&J Video Games and Collectibles. You could trade in your video games and consoles, from retro video games, accessories, and systems. You can trade in your DVD box sets and Blu-rays. You could also trade in your sports cards and novelty items, as well as wrestling collectibles and autographed items spanning from sports, wrestling, and actors. And you can also trade in some pop vinyls as well too. And But and if you have a messed up console, if you have a messed up video game console, they will also take good care of you as of your console as well too. And if you happen to be in the Southington, Connecticut area, and you want to know where this wonderful store is at, especially they also sell comic books too. So I might stop by over at Comic Book Day this weekend, this Saturday. So I might do a little something over there. So we don't know. Haven't finalized everything yet. So, but if anything, it'll be just out of nowhere. But and if you want to check out this wonderful store, if you happen to vacation in Southington, Connecticut, and they also have a list of events going on. So if you want directions and list of events that they have going on, you can check out their website over at mjvideogames.com. And a very special shout out over to Hardcore Sweet Bakery. These guys are amazing. And I mean amazing. Today, I managed to pick up some cupcakes. Star Wars themed cupcakes, and one of them seems to be a little bit flat, but that's okay because we're going to pull that one out first as soon as I can open this up. And yeah, apparently, we'll start off with this one. It is the dark side. It looks like there's a dark chocolate. It looks like a chocolate thing, cupcake, and it has Darth Vader's face on it, so you know that it's good. Looks like, ooh, it's fondant.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give it a little bite. Oh my God, this is so good.
That looks really good.
It is very good. Very good. And you know what? I shouldn't be eating this because I'm a diabetic, but I don't care. I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel.
It's a good night for it.
And that, which is good because then my doctor can be like, "You rebel scum." Your blood sugar went up. And this one here, this one is called Jabba the Hutt, and the cream is shaped like Jabba the Hutt. So this is actually really good. I'm going to give it a little try on that. I'll bite the tail off.
So does that one have coffee flavor in it?
Yes, it does, and it actually has quite a kick to it. That is very good. I am going to pick out on these later. I also have a Wookiee cookie, but it broke.
Aw.
The Wookiee cookie broke it.
I'm gonna have to come up to Connecticut. Like, you've given me yet one more reason with maybe even for the cupcakes, but with the video game store you're saying too. That's wow. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, so I mean we have things here, but it's everything's cooler on the East Coast. So
yes, and I'm a mess, but luckily I did not stain Grogu.
Grogu.
I got this at the last minute because the one Grogu shirt that I had was long sleeve, so it was a little it was going to feel a little hot in here, and I'm already sweating already. So, and it's wrinkled. It's wrinkled like crazy. So it has more wrinkles than Grogu. And I also on my Facebook page, I showed off some other ones that they had. There was one that was they called Pistachio Yoda. It was pistachio with Yoda's face on it. It was actually really cool. But anyways, you can check out their website over at hardcoresweetbakery.com. And there's 2 locations in Connecticut, one here in Southington, and there's another one in Watertown. But I recommend going to the Southington one because Southington's a lot of fun. Just saying. And you can check so yeah, hardcoresweetbakery.com. They've also been appeared on Netflix, Cupcake Wars and everything like that. So
I watched that.
They're pretty well known. So if you heard of Hardcore Sweet Bakery, that name, you must have seen them on Netflix. on
I'm
that
sure I
one.
have at least once because when I used to take care of my grandparents over at my mom's house, I'd be there like 5 to 6 days a week and overnight. And my grandfather Papa loved watching Food Network. So
Oh,
it was
there
either
you go.
nature shows or Food Network. Grandma was all about the Westerns, but we lost her earlier. But
Nice.
I watched a lot of Cupcake Wars, Cake Wars, and all of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. He
Yeah,
loved
that's
when the
a
kids
very
did
good
the
show.
baking thing too. Yeah.
Very good
Oh, it was
show.
fabulous.
And you got to check out their so with the list of menus that they have, you could check out their website over at hardcoresweetbakery.com. Who knows? Maybe you get to see more of their Star Wars themed baked goods that they have there. So, and it was only for today only. But if you want something to watch these wonderful cupcakes down, I recommend going into in the same place. There's a brewery here in Southington as well too. It's called Witch Doctor Brewing, and they make their own house beer. And I recommend the Juju Juice. It's really good. And so yeah, check out their. So yeah, it's definitely worth cleansing your palate for. Um, if you love house beer and IPAs and everything. Oh, excuse me.
I love
IPAs and
IPAs.
everything. Definitely worth checking out. It's over at witchdoctorbrewing.com for a list of menus that they have there and everything. So,
We
okay.
we have a local brewery here. I used to work at a brew pub, and then they got
Oh, yeah.
closed down. Well, they changed ownership, I guess.
Oh,
But
wow.
there's one that's very close to it, and I'm not going to try to plug it. I can't remember the name offhand. But they make their IPA the most fabulous. It's called Hopalooya, and it is the hoppiest beer I've ever had. And you can smell any bar that has it on tap. If you're in there and somebody's getting like a draft poured, you can smell it through the entire bar because the hops are so strong with it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And the name of it actually is quite catchy. It's what is it again? Hoppa Brewery or
Hopalooya instead of
Hallelujah. There you
Hallelujah.
go.
It's Hopalooya.
That is very catchy. I like that. I
I, th-
really do like that.
I thought it
And
was rather clever of them. Yeah.
yes, and there used to, when I was living in Waterbury, Connecticut, um, there was this brewery I used to go to as well too. It was called She Bean. It's not there anymore, and I'm sad. I'm very sad about that. And they had some really good beer as well too. They also had one that they also had one one of their beers that I loved. It was the up down left right. It was, and it had a
Konami
Super
Code.
Nintendo. Yeah, it had a Super Nintendo controller on there, and it was on one of my old episodes. I explained it a lot better, but and but yeah, it was so good. It was really really good, and then when I was living in Bristol, Connecticut for a while. There was there was a brewery right within walking distance, and it was called Better Half Brewing. That brewery is no longer around anymore. They had some really good ones, and I bought it was like an autumn mix. It was called an autumn mix, and they put it in this old, the old glass jugs and everything like that. Kind of where you would like to see in the cartoons where they have the triple X's and the moonshine. Well, and they're drinking, technically it's moonshine, one of
Yeah.
those type of bottles. Oh, I love that bottle. I loved it.
I think
And
we call them growlers.
yes, I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, because we'd sell them. And the thing about them is you can hook your finger through the loop and then you put it on your arm and then you just drink it like this.
Yeah,
Your arm propping up if you're hardcore enough to be able to down
there you
an
go.
entire growler.
Here in the East Coast, we shotgun. We just poke a hole in the bottom and pop the top and shotgun it. I never did that though. I never did that.
I don't think I have either. I don't know if I'm really missing out on life though. I'm kind of like, I'm okay. I missed that frat party, but
I do too. I do too. And you know what we're talking about? We're supposed to be talking about Star Wars,
Not
not
beer.
May 5th. That's
May
tomorrow.
4th.
And I'm debating whether or not to do a show tomorrow. I'm debating, because I didn't put anything up, and I was thinking about doing a show, but I don't know. I haven't debated yet because I want to do a Cinco de Mayo while I'm just doing a show completely drunk and everything. I want to try that, but priorities.
Friends don't let friends drink in podcast, she says as she drinks on the podcast.
Yes. But it's wine. Technically, you're drinking a fruit because it's made by made by stomped grapes.
Yes.
So technically, you're getting your antioxidants.
Yes, and my tannins and all those lovely things. I usually drink bourbon, but I happen to be out. I drink bourbon with my Coke Zero. You're a fellow Coke Zero drinker. It's
Yes.
one of the cool things about me, and I'm sorry, I'm still squirreling out before Star Wars, but right over
Okay.
there, I have a Coke Zero can from back when they used to be black and red, and I got it in. I think it's empty. It's completely sealed, but it's an empty can.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So apparently they're collectible. I don't know. I just stuck it up on my little thing to keep it from where the cats can't destroy it and put holes in it and stuff. But
That's
I
awesome.
have, yeah. So I have the collectible Coke Zero empty can.
I used to collect some collectible cans, um, but not anymore. Not anymore because ants were getting all over the place and everything, and I was like,
Mm.
I should have washed them out, and that's my fault. But there is one bottle that I had that I still have, but haven't displayed it yet, and because here in Connecticut we there's a soda there's a soda place where they make their own sodas called Avery, and they always have a thing. They always have like a lot of themed sodas and everything. There's one for like a zombie juice or something like that, which is actually really good. I think it's like green apple, um, which is very good. They also have a UFO themed one is called I think it's called Alien Invasion. I have to look it up, and but one that caught my eye, and I got it last year. It was um um Putin Punch, and basically to all proceeds went to to help the people of the good people of Ukraine and everything like that. So it was for a good cause. And the bottle caps, um, there was three blue ones and three yellow ones of the bottle tops and everything. So it's for good cause and everything like that. So, but it was really good. It was just fruit punch soda. That's all it was.
That's very cool.
It was very good too. And they use pure cane sugar uh, for there, and it's really good. I highly recommend it. So a lot of places to look at whenever you come here to Connecticut.
Yeah. I'm going to save up this year into next year, and hopefully by next year, if I can stash away the funds, I will show up and try to join all of y'all for Terrificon.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
as I'm a Midwesterner, we're used to like, oh, you're gonna drive 1,500 miles today? Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Road trip, right? Yeah.
There you go.
Got it. And so I think getting around to a couple of different places and stuff while I'm there shouldn't be too big of a problem, at least.
It's
It,
like that. It'll be like that. Where Clark Griswold says getting there is half the fun and
yeah,
everything. It's
I'll
something
get to
like
use the trains because I can't drive, but
yeah.
I'll get to play with trains, and that's something else we don't
Oh, there
have.
you
I
go.
mean, we have trains, but not passenger trains really. So
Ah, and everything. Oh,
Good
that's
for you,
cool.
Alyssa.
Either way, it'll be awesome. It'll be really, really awesome. And it had the, you know, myself and the Dorkening guys and everything, and you and everybody just getting together, just having a good time and everything like that. I'm not a Dorkening member, but you know, it's nice to be a friend.
Same. That's where I'm at. I'm the
It's nice to
Dorkening
be the same.
fan.
You know,
Who I'm gonna
I'm
show off
sure
my shirt real quick.
somewhere down the line, I think you know, when everything, you know, goes well and everything like that, you know, who knows, you know, Real Pro can partner up with Dorkening. But I
Yeah,
don't know. I've been thinking about. I don't know. I've been thinking about trying to change the logo on the like update it, but I just kept it single. This is like came out of nowhere. I was fooling around with this because actually this graphic right here, I
Mhm.
did this on Grand Theft Auto 5 on on their um their crew tag maker on their social page. So, and I just
Okay.
started fooling around with some ideas and everything, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw that on there and see what happens. And I've had that logo ever since. So, but
That's
I
very
want
cool.
to pizzazz it a little bit. I want to pizzazz it a little bit.
I gotta show off my shirt real quick then.
Yes, you have to. You have to.
Yes, this is over on the Darkening. We have Brandon Mark Powers, who comes up with some of the best ideas ever. And I started shouting out hashtag Brandonverse in comments when I was watching him when he would suddenly explain possibilities of the entire DCU or the entire Star Wars upcoming universe and stuff to everybody. And I'd be like, yes, we don't need the Snyderverse. We don't need anything else. We need the Brandonverse
Yeah.
because it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very passionate about it. So I made this shirt just because he was wearing a Superman shirt at one point with this. And so I'm like, can you send me that so I can use it for my color palette? And yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I just like the neon that's on there because because I know how that origin of the neon, how you did the neon with that, because it was off of the Ghostbusters neon that they had, because
okay.
he was wearing the t-shirt that had that neon logo, because I had that same t-shirt, but it's buried in my closet.
You you have the Superman shirt that he has?
No, I
Oh,
don't have that one. I don't have that one just yet, because I got to save up some money to get that shirt, because I do want to get that shirt, because that one is actually awesome. And but there's a Ghostbusters t-shirt that has the neon, you know, that neon graphic that I have, and I think that's probably where you got that, and I think, you know, I think that it's awesome. I think
yeah,
that it's really, really awesome.
he pulled it somewhere and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And
Yes.
I don't know where you design your stuff on Grand Theft Auto. I design my stuff on GIMP. So it's like layer, 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 layer. Oh my god, I'm 15 layers deep. I don't know what
I have the older t-shirt that the older logo that I have of this shirt. Believe it or not, all I did was took fabric paint and just threw it on the shirt. That's all I did.
going Jackson Pollock style with it. Just
Yeah, pretty much. So it stands out a little bit, and it's a little bit more bolder. But when I wrote Real Pro on the bottom, it's horrible. It's real horrible. And that's why I had to update it, because this one stands out a lot more with that. But I don't know. I want to be more creative and just do something. You know, like probably update it more or something like that. So I don't know.
it's
I'll
very
throw.
sleek.
Yes, it's nice and neat, you know. It's clean too,
Yeah.
especially because I only wear it during conventions and special occasions and everything like that. So it's freshly washed. I have to update the size because this is a 2X and now I upgraded to a 3X. So I can't stop eating.
That's okay. That's where I'm at. I like them a little baggy, so I get everything in a nice
Yeah,
3x. And you,
exactly.
I
Exactly.
I make everything on T Public because
Yeah.
they do
There you
everything
go.
for you.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
Very
Star Wars Day.
Yeah, Star Wars. Moving on. It's like I don't want this guy to force choke me. He's already got the handout. Said, do the show. Do the show.
Do you know I do have a piece of trivia that I do know.
Awesome.
With Darth Vader's breathing, do you know what they used for that Foley effect?
Um, I'm gonna try to take a guess because I'm a little hazy on it. I think they had like some guy breathing into like a tube or something like that.
Close. It was I don't remember the exact model, but it was scuba gear.
Yes, yes, that's what it was.
I
Scuba
I
gear.
found that out randomly because one of my friends that I was interviewing on a show the other day was like talking about Foley effects, and he's like, "Yeah, so this about Darth Vader." I'm like, "Oh, I can use that because I know a lot of geeks."
Awesome. Well, yeah, it's a little fun fact about Darth Vader, and yeah, Darth Vader is one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah,
He really is. I mean, yeah, he's a bad guy and everything, but you look at the backstory of Vader. He had a hard life and everything, and a lot of people want to there are a lot of people that want to rib, want to trash the the prequel trilogy, episodes 1, 2, and 3. I actually have a soft spot for them because they're actually, they're actually, yeah, they may not be as good as the regular, the original trilogy, but but it's good. And my favorite one out of the three is the episode 3. And because that was like the only Star Wars movie where I cried when Padme died, when and everything, and it was just so emotional with when they had the funeral and everything like that. and and then all of a sudden Darth Vader comes up. I mean, that whole final portion of the movie was so emotional. And like Darth Vader comes up and going, how he came about. And then as soon as the helmet goes on, and it's like it's quiet, and all it did was go awesome. Awesome. It was so emotional. So
I just
emotional.
got goosebumps when you did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I did watch through those, although, like I said,
I
question
have
for
this
you.
yeah, I have a cardboard tubing, and I probably should have brought it out. And with that cardboard tubing, I can literally do a good impression of General Grievous. but
Like,
I can
which
do it with my but I can do it with my hands though. Oh, General Kenobi. It
nice.
sounds a lot better with the cardboard tubing.
Now, which episode was it that had the huge lightsaber battle with Mace Windu and everyone down on the ground, and then it's also where Jango Fett was beheaded?
Episode 2.
Okay, I saw that. I had to cover my eyes for the second part because the first time I watched it, I had a seizure. There
Yeah.
was just so the second time through, it's like, okay, I'm not going to watch this part. Tell me what's happening. But so this is a morbid question, and I asked the geeks, and they were like, "Don't go there." But when Boba Fett goes and picks up the helmet, is his head still in
His head is still in there, yes.
there? Does he keep it?
I don't,
I used to
that's a
understand that, and that
mystery
was a
because
joke I did, but then it
it
made me
would have
actually curious.
I think they, I think they wanted to go. I don't know. I think George Lucas originally wanted to, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think that George Lucas wanted to put had that effect where Django's head falls off of the, slides down of the helmet and everything, and I think that would have been good. But I think they wanted to not go that route, and not get so that they can keep it PG, because I think that's what it was. I think it was PG or PG, or I think they could have gotten away with it if it was PG-13, because I know that PG-13 was Revenge of the Sith. So,
Okay.
and but yeah, I think, I probably I wouldn't have been like shocked. I probably would have laughed at that. I just laughed, just seeing that head just plop right down, just slide right down and everything. And I think that would have been funny as hell. But
so you're a dark and disturbing person like I am. This is good. We can have
yes,
a partnership going here.
because to me that would have been just funny. I mean, I know they were trying to go that, because I know they did something, somewhat similar to it in episode 5 with Empire Strikes Back, where when Luke was fighting, was in the cave and everything, and he did, he had this vision of him of fighting Darth Vader, and when and he took the head came off and everything, and then when it showed off, it was they showed an image of Luke Skywalker and everything, and that was pretty crazy. I think they didn't want to go that route, but personally, I just would have thought that would have been funny if Django's head just slid down the helmet. I think that would have been a lot funnier. To be honest.
It explains a bit about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
How was your life? Well, I picked up my dad's head, and after that, I was kind of done with dealing with anybody. I'm working for myself now.
But I'm sure if Family Guy ever does the prequel trilogy, they have to do a satire of that. They have to. They really have to. I think that would be hilarious. Just the head slides down and everything, and young Boba is like, no.
Oh, and really quick, the reason you keep seeing this white tissue over my glass, I made the mistake of buying bananas outside of winter, and so I got fruit flies in my apartment. So I'm like trying to drink my wine without having a fruit fly in there. So don't buy bananas if it's above 40 degrees in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look at it this way: the more smoothies, the better. But all right. So what was your first introduction to Star Wars? What was your first?
My first was down at, I believe at that point it was the Stewart Theater here in Lincoln, and I'm not from Lincoln, but we came here because it was the cool theater to go to. We went up and got to sit in these really neat balconies, and that was when I saw Return of the Jedi for the first time, when it premiered in theaters. And I was 7, so I know that I had seen the other ones at some point, so I don't know if they'd been on TV before that or if we'd gone to like the local theater for it, but I distinctly remember the first one that I remember seeing was going to see Return of the Jedi, because we got to sit up in the balcony. I was so excited about that because we didn't have balconies at the smaller town theaters and stuff, so it was just like, oh, this is really cool.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so that one always is my like favorite, just because it was the first thing that I consciously can put together with Star Wars.
That's awesome. And a little fun fact about Return of the Jedi: the movie premiered in May 25th of 1983. So happy 40th anniversary to Return of the Jedi. Celebrates 40 years, and it's back now in theaters, and it's actually doing well because of the fact because it's they brought it back in theaters for this 40th anniversary, but it's only for a limited time.
And is it the original, or did they spruce it up a little bit or anything, or are they just playing what we had to?
I think it's the one where they had the that musical number.
I don't know that I've seen one with the musical, but
I could be, but it may not be that special edition. I think it could be the original theatrical release. I don't know.
Too much. They're just trying to challenge me to see all these things. I'm a completionist.
Yes.
So I keep learning, sadly, if I want to complete Star Wars, well, first of all, I have to be able to sit through some of the movies. Then I have to go through all the cartoons and animated series, not cartoons anymore. We are adults. We watch animated series.
Yes.
And so much of Mando and all of the other stuff, I'm just like,
Mandalorian. I loved it. I mean, I completed it. See, I already did my review of each episode of this season, and pretty much I only had one word for every episode. The episode was good. Moving on. And that's what I did. It was like a really short review, and then I just went on to the next topic, because on this show I do like 3 topics.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I do 3 topics.
My introduction to Grogu was in Sims 4. Actually, I played that a few times, and as soon as Mando came out, everybody was going nuts over "quote unquote" Baby Yoda. So Sims 4 added in a statue of the child that you could place in your house, and if you had the cheat codes, people would buy lots, like the biggest lot in town, and then expand him to as big as they could possibly fit him on the lot with, and then have like all of their townies and stuff go and worship him. So,
that's awesome. That is awesome.
You can look it up on YouTube, like people playing around with the child statues. It's awesome. And it was free content, so.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it came out around the time of May 4th. So I think. But I think this was on PC. This was on PC, right?
Yeah, I play it on PC, yeah.
Okay.
Other people, you can play it on other things, but I'm not
It's better on PC. Trust me, it is better on PC. Why? Because I have the PS4. I had the PS4 version, and you can't do multiplayer on it. And that's why I didn't even bother playing it on Xbox. That's why.
Yeah, you can't get a lot of the extra content either, that like fan made content and stuff, because I have everything. I play with a friend of mine. He's like, "Here's everything." So I'm like, "Okay,
nice."
My Sims can do all sorts of things that even I wouldn't do in real life, because they have some. But you get cool costumes and stuff. So they have some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every fandom, they have a lot of Star Wars stuff. They got some Hellraiser stuff, and that's for me the big wow.
See, Hellraiser, I get Hellraiser was actually my first introduction to horror films, and I was a little kid. I was a little kid, and Pinhead was my very first horror character, and because of Pinhead, I had nightmares to this very day. So I have to be very careful. So if I'm watching any horror film, including Hellraiser, I have to turn on I have to have the lights on. I have to.
Oh. No, it's always dark in my place. But
it's weird too. And it's weird too, because I'm 44, and everybody would think that I would, be like Dracula or Frankenstein or that, but no, I went right above the top of the list and everything with Pinhead. And it's like that movie is one of the most gory horror films ever. you know. And did you, I know we're supposed to be talking about Star Wars, but screw it. But
I'm good to squirrel on anything.
did you see the remake
I've
that
seen
that was
all
on
of
Hulu?
them. The the latest movie, the one with the female Pinhead.
Yes,
Yes, I did. I love it.
it was
Love,
awesome.
love, love, love,
It
love, love
was
it.
really, really awesome, and it still had that gory feel to it, and I absolutely loved it and
The
everything.
reasoning behind the change in costumes, they went because the Cenobites are beings of sensation,
Yeah,
pain and pleasure, and all of everything going through. But when they were initially designing the Hellraiser characters way back in the 80s, um, bondage gear was like edgy and stuff. And so that's why they were all wearing the leather and the hooks and the
yeah,
piercings and everything, because that was like, okay, we're really going to do this. And then keeping on with it, you have to keep some of the like chains and hooks and blades and stuff in the
yeah,
fashion with all of them. But in this one, they took away most of like the leather and stuff and just have skin speaking for itself
yeah,
in them. If you haven't seen it, Gash in particular, they're the Order of the Gash, but then that's not her name.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, they go very far beyond it. It's a bit closer to the book in the way some of the things are described as to how they are presented, because in a lot of those they started off being naked and
ooh,
such, and so yeah. And there's a lot. I mean, there's still some of them are covered up in this one, but
yeah.
yeah, not all of them.
So the book is so basically what you're saying. The book is a lot better than the movie.
It's just it's very different. In the
Yeah,
initial book, there's uh it's it's a man and his wife, and then Kirsty is in love with the husband. It's
yeah.
not her father and all that stuff. But
Wow.
yeah, so they made a lot of huge changes when they did it, but it worked. Like Uncle
Yeah,
Frank was a lot creepier than what the book was. And now that they've updated it and Clive Barker has the rights back, they're going to be doing a series as well. And I don't know. I Some of the movies, eventually it was just like we're just keeping our licensing of it by making a movie in like 3 days. We're just going to turn something out, call it Hellraiser, let it go. So I don't know. I was a Doug Bradley Pinhead fan, so the last few that they
yeah.
did, it was kind of like,
I think Bradley
they
was the
lost.
best, and he retired. When he retired, and I went to there's a convention here. It's called CT Horror Fest, and
Okay,
if you ever come down this way, I highly recommend that you check this convention out. It's awesome. It's really awesome, and they have it's nothing but horror stuff and everything like that. And Bradley was there too, and at the time, my first time going, and it was I couldn't even get into the line because of how long that was. It was like I wanted to meet him so bad and everything, um, but with because of how long the line was over there, I couldn't get a chance to say hi, and it was getting late and everything. But I did
yeah,
manage to go see one of my close person an old friend of mine um who does some indie films, and I actually have one of them. He just recently passed away. Um his name is Carmine Capabianco, and he did a lot some indie films in town. Galactic Gigolo, and one of them is Psychos in Love, which is which he recommended, and I bought the Blu-ray. It's an awesome film, and so we reminisced a little bit because I haven't seen him in a long time, and he did cable access in the same studio that I did, and so he was a really cool guy, and it broke my heart to see him pass away and everything. So, but but yeah, Hellraiser is a really awesome franchise and everything, and Bradley's the best, bar none.
yeah. And the poor guy, he couldn't move. The way that he walks is because he could not move in the suit properly.
Yeah.
They
But-
spent so
yeah,
much
because I think
time on it.
yeah, because it was like leather and everything like that, so it was really hard. I think he had a hard time moving around and everything that he was saying.
Yeah, he couldn't turn his head. He had to turn his body because the
Yeah,
collar was up so tight, and the way that he
yeah,
walked too was hindered because it was such a form-fitting costume, and they didn't. And of course, everybody calls him Pinhead, but Clive Barker hates that. He was supposed to
yeah,
be, the Hell Priest, and
yeah,
all of a sudden Doug took it over, and they were just calling him that because of makeup, having to stick everything in his head, and
yeah,
so he will forever be known as Pinhead.
exactly. And this actress, I forgot the actress's name who did the female version of Pinhead.
Yeah.
She did a really good job too. Really good job.
Yeah, it's the thing behind Pinhead is they're a very asexual being, so
Yeah,
it doesn't so much matter whether it was a male or female playing them
yeah,
because their entire focus, the flesh is all the flesh. It doesn't matter, they're very LGBTQ plus inclusive.
yeah,
The
absolutely.
Cenobites were there first.
Exactly. And nobody really complained about the change and everything. And when somebody did, they were schooled immediately. They quickly in the comment section, there will be that one person that would just say it's like, "Oh, Pinhead's supposed to be a guy," and then somebody who's like a real hardcore um Hellraiser fan would say no. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
here, let me educate you for a few seconds via text.
we shut them down on Reddit on the Hellraiser forums.
Oh yeah,
Quit whining. No, this was
yes.
brilliant. Stop trying to start a fight
Mm-hmm.
because we're all gonna hate
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. But moving on.
Back to Star Wars.
That was our little non Star Wars discussion. I have to bring you back on our Halloween special.
Swirling. There we go. I got to bring him out. Stop it.
There
No.
you go. And but yeah, fun fact, it was May 25th of Return of the Jedi. My first Star Wars experience didn't come from a movie.
Oh,
It
really?
came from a television special. The dreaded 1978 version holiday special. That was my first introduction, and I was in diapers. Didn't know what was going on, but it was a holiday special. My parents sat me down. It was colorful and everything like that, and you seen like this big hairy animal. Didn't know who it was. It was just like the sounds and the lights and everything, and you know just everything was just like, oh, good. And that whole thing with the Wookiees talking and everything, it's like, oh, good, they're speaking my language. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I just sat there, bless you, and I just sat there and had a good time and didn't know what was going on, didn't understand what was going on. But yeah, that was the Star Wars holiday special was the one that introduced me to the Star Wars franchise.
I might not have ever seen that, but we aren't going to talk
They
about
only
that.
they only showed it. They only showed that once. They only showed that once, and it was so horrible. It was so horrible. George Lucas vowed never to have it ever re-released anywhere ever again. He's like he put that so far in his vault that he said he has no intentions of re-releasing it. And but it's a really strange fact because on Disney Plus that you can watch right now on Disney Plus, there's an animated short that shows the very first introduction of Boba Fett. And it's a good cartoon. It's a good animated short.
Okay.
And that one, I think that's why um that was my first introduction, because of that, because I didn't know what was going on, but I do remember seeing that cartoon, that animated short. And it's like the Boba Fett and a little quick appearance by Darth Vader, and it was a really cool. It was actually a really cool short.
I think I have Disney Plus on like one of the family things. And unfortunately, Netflix is taking that away from us, but is
Right?
Disney Plus still allowing it? Well, I mean, I pay for a family subscription. I can't help it. We don't all live under the same
Yeah,
roof, you know?
exactly. And you know, and especially with Netflix, taking the fun out of everything, and you know, with the password sharing, and that there's like $20 a month now. It's like the most expensive subscription service out there, and I think from what I heard, they're going to raise the prices again. I don't know.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I need to go out and get rid of the family subscription and go back to the single person one because
Yeah,
but my family, we all kind of like, I'm a Prime member, so I share that I have the family account, and at least
yeah,
with that, like I can share that with my mom, and then she shares
yeah,
Disney Plus back with me, and you know.
yeah.
But yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I have the Disney Plus triple package. That means I get Disney Plus, you get Disney Plus, Hulu and ESPN. So and I only pay
Oh,
like $15, 15.
can you send me that information because my mother
Yeah.
loves everything in the Marvel universe and such. So she's a huge MCU fan. So she has Disney Plus. I don't know what she'd do with Hulu, but ESPN, she's a giant fan of men's volleyball.
Oh, there you go.
Hawaii University is her team.
Oh,
The
there.
University of Hawaii, whatever. So it having
Yeah.
her
Yeah, I'll send you the a link to that and everything. And you're actually saving well, and I know that shameless plug for you're welcome Disney.
right. But yeah, I think she pays more to just have this or Hulu itself and stuff costs so much more than that. But that'd be a great
Well,
package.
Hulu's not that expensive anyways. I think it's like, $7.99, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so, but I think it's now not. I think it went up to $9.99 now. But you're better off getting that package deal because of the because it's a really good deal. And I got at the time it was I got it for $13.99, but I think now it's like $15.99, I think. I have the double check, but yeah, I'll forward you that link. And then you can probably change your plan and everything like that. But yeah, it's a really good one. Um,
Awesome.
but but yeah, but yeah, on Disney Plus you can watch that that short that has the Boba Fett in first introduction of Boba Fett. And yeah, and it's an awesome animated short. Um, Definitely a must watch. Definitely.
Well,
Um,
and speaking of the TV ones, my other favorite, and we have this recorded on Betamax, if you remember those days.
yes,
Um, yes,
never owned
we
it, but I have sold some at the
yes,
time when it was available.
recording it off of the TV channel. We had Ewoks Battle for Endor,
Yes.
and I loved that, and I really, really, really want the witches to come back because
Mm,
they were so awesome.
yes. The Ewoks were that in. I know they had Battle for Endor, and there was another one. There was another Ewoks movie because they did two Ewoks movies, and I forgot the other one. But they also had an animated series too. They also had a Saturday morning cartoon,
Oh,
which was a spin-off to the to Droids. And I don't know. I know that Droids took place before A New Hope, but um, but Ewoks, I don't know. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it took place before Jedi. That time, the Ewoks cartoon took place in the timeline before Jedi, Return of the Jedi.
but, and they were cute, but they were vicious little buggers. I mean, you don't want to mess with the Ewoks.
Especially Wicket.
Yeah, and apparently, I pulled up. I was gonna actually. I didn't know if you did the things under the names or not, but I pulled up some Ewokese that was like, okay, we hide and then take their heads. But it was written in Ewokese. That scene when the Ewok hops on the glider, like the gliding motorcycle things that the stormtroopers are riding.
Yes.
And they're killing him. He's like, ah! Yeah, he just like goes flying off on the scooter bike. I loved that movie. I watched it over and over and over as a kid.
That was awesome. And fun fact, speaking of Wicket, there's a little fun fact. The full name of Wicket is Wicket Warwick, and he's played by Warwick Davis.
I was gonna say, is there a okay?
So there's a connection right there. So that's a little bit of fun. That's a little fun fact there about the Ewok character Wicket. However,
so nice.
There's another fun fact, and this came out. This little bit of information came to me in an article a week before doing this episode. And this article comes from Screen Rant. Oh, excuse me.
Catch Drew Mallow over at Screen Rant.
Yes. But I don't know who did the article though. It wasn't Drew. It wasn't Drew.
Yeah, he doesn't do stars.
I think it was like a different one. But the one who did the article was I can't pronounce the name.
Okay.
But anywho,
Yes.
but this has to do with Star Wars: A New Hope. Have you ever seen that one?
Is that the first of the preludes?
Yeah, that's the first in the original trilogy. It was
Okay, yeah.
There was a little character. Let's see if I can. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Yeah, I saw all three of them, but only once. Well, twice in the case of the one that dropped me. But
it's actually this character right here. Only had pretty much one line. They had a short role. It was a
doctor.
Yeah, it was like an Imperial spy. In the Mos Eisley scene.
Okay.
It was revealed on who played that character. And the character's name, believe it or not, was John Wayne.
Nice.
I kid you not. So a lot of people, including myself, because my first John Wayne movie was The Shootist, and believe it or not, that was his last film. And strangely enough, his final role was in Star Wars: A New Hope, and he played that character.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that at all.
And
I could have made my grandma watch Star Wars.
that speaking and the speaking line that he had that sounded like a synthesizer and everything, that was actually John Wayne speaking whatever he was saying. It was actually John Wayne, and it says in the article, if I can find it because I had to reload the screen. Is it, the name of the character is named Garnadan, is recognizable by his dark hood and insect-like snoot. In A New Hope, he only plays a brief role where he leads the stormtroopers to Luke and the rest of the gang at Mos Eisley. Before they escape in the Millennium Falcon, he is also heard speaking some gibberish alien language. And the sound designer, Ben Burt, later revealed that it was a heavily processed version of Wayne's voice.
Well, that's very cool.
That I was, when I read this article, I had to make sure that this was not a bogus thing, but it looks to be legit. And
yeah, they fact check a lot over there.
Yeah. So according to Burt, via Star Wars blog, when he was creating the voice for Garnadan, he used an electronic buzzing, which had it come off of my synthesizer that was triggered by a human voice. So whatever he was saying, that's where it sounds like. So that was the voice that you heard. And
now the mystery is to track down what did he say.
I think I know where he said. The rebels are there, pilgrims.
I mean, that would make sense. And that would be awesome too. So we're gonna go with that. I think that's my new headcanon.
But that would be fun. That would actually be funny as hell if that was actually, if that came around like that. Especially, if he had like if that, if he did have like a speaking role, that wasn't that character. With like, I would just like him just one time, just be like some random Jedi saying, "May the Force be with you, pilgrim." We could have had that. When I read that, I was like, "Holy shit!" So, and I told my father that, and he looked at me like I had lobsters coming out of my ears. And it was like,
I think
he didn't believe me, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what he had."
Grandma probably would have done the same. I was when I took care of them for all those years, and before we went to Food Network and Nature Channels for Papa, Grandma owned the remote. Nobody else was allowed to use the remote. I have seen so many Westerns. I can't even tell you. And it was, and Gunsmoke and, all the different TV shows and stuff going on. But the best thing that has happened in the past decade or whatever was, as far as my grandma went, it got her every time. She'd be going to watch her Westerns and she'd be flipping through the channels. And I think there were at least 5 times that I was present for where she'd catch that episode of The Walking Dead where he's riding the horse into town. And so she'd be like, "Oh, cowboy," and pause on it. And we always let her go until the zombies start coming off the bus. And she's just like, "What am I watching?" I'm like, "You did it again." Caught you again. They got you.
But yeah, that is a really good fun fact, and I don't think a lot of people know that. But for those who didn't, you heard it first here on Channel X. See, we're a very educational program. We are. You learn a lot. You learn a lot from Channel X.
All sorts of things. We used to have I grew up on an acreage and we had this old farmhouse. Once I hit about 10, we moved there. And there was a wooden drawer at the bottom of the set of drawers that was like a really big, deep one. And it had a sliding top on it that they used to have in the kitchen. And when we'd pull it out, the wood had warped enough that it sounded like a Wookiee. We pull it. So we called it the Wookiee drawer
There you go.
Every now and then, just for fun, I'd go and play with it and be like,
Oh, I
I'm
love that.
making the Wookiee sound.
I actually love that sound. Mm.
He just gets, yeah, and you can tell when he's just like, what the fuck? Come on, hon. Really? You're terrible. You're a
The,
horrible human being. I have to follow you around.
the actor who the guy who played Chewbacca also went on to play Harry from Harry and the Hendersons.
So he was typecast.
Yeah. So yeah, he was. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was actually pretty cool. A little fun fact, but he passed away not too long ago too, and that was really sad. It was like Chewbacca's dead. I love Chewbacca. Chewbacca's really cool. I like him.
I think everybody loves Chewbacca. There's like nobody who can complain about it.
Yeah.
Like, big furry guy, can fly ships, play chess,
or according to Leia, big walking carpet.
Ooh,
and speaking of Leia,
oh,
Carrie Fisher got her star on the Walk of Fame today.
Yes, I saw that.
Congratulations are in order to Carrie Fisher, but she's already in the Channel X Hall of Fame because the Star Wars franchise is in it. So yeah, we like to honor the those who have anniversaries or special occasions and everything like that, and I have this little thing that's called the Channel X Hall of Fame, and so it basically is just, nobody who's inducted gets any awards or anything like that. It's just basically just my way of showing passion to the thing, to anything pop culture. So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, so now as your Padawan, I'm going to ask you if this thing that I was told was true.
Okay.
Okay, so big gamer, like pen and paper, or pencil and paper back in the day.
Yeah.
D&D-er and stuff. And I was told when we were getting ready to play a Star Wars game, a friend of mine had played as an Ewok bounty hunter. And he just like joined the ship with the people he was supposed to capture and hung out with them while they flew to where he was supposed to be delivering them, and then just pulled a bowcaster on them when they got to port. And nobody suspected him because he was an Ewok. And everybody's just like, they're cute. And it's like, no, actually, they're pretty vicious little buggers. They are cute.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they eat the dead enemies and stuff. They kind of skip over that in some of the things. But they said that Ewoks were somehow related to Wookiees. And that is why the Ewoks were the only other creatures in the universe that could use the bowcasters that the Wookiees had.
According to
that's what I was told, but like I said, I don't know if I trust the guy.
I heard the same I heard the same rumor too. I think the planet of Kashyyyk and Endor have some sort of close relations, that Ewoks and Wookiees are close relations. I also heard a theory that also may or may not be true, that there was once that Wookiees and Ewoks were at war against each other at one point, and somehow, somewhere during this during the time period, there was some sort of peace treaty that took place. And I would, and if that theory is actually true, I would love to see them sign a peace treaty, just to have an Ewok, just like like the head Ewok and the head Wookiee just in the same room together, just being, coming to peace and being friends and everything. I think that would have been hilarious.
I would pay the now what, like $50 to go sit in a theater and get a popcorn
Mhm,
to
absolutely.
watch a movie that was just based on Ewoks and Wookiees at war. Like,
And
you
there'll
wouldn't
be no
understand anything being said. There'd be like all this yub nub and stuff, and like that's the entire thing. There is no dialogue other than Wookiees and Ewokese, and that would be amazing. I would
that
love that.
that would be hilarious.
And
But
because the movie links is like 2.5 hours, you know.
but maybe somewhere I may have to read more into this book that I have, which is actually one of my all-time favorites. It's which I'm good at segueing at that, as you
Good job.
notice. Um, it's Everything Star Wars, which is the ultimate visual guide of Star Wars. So
That's
has a
beautiful
lot
too.
of um this I know they updated this because this one dates to the to the 6 Star Wars movies, not all 9, but because this book came out in 2005, and so it came out around the time of the the episode 3
Okay.
thing. And there was some there was one, and this is actually my all-time favorite um book, because it's a lovely guide, and I got this from Christmas from an ex-girlfriend you know a long time ago in a city far, far away. um the little known planet of Terryville, Connecticut. um but yeah, this was actually one of my favorite books that I got um at that time, and and I'm surprised I still have it to this day, because with the move and everything, I thought that I would never see this book again. But when I was going through boxes and stuff like that, I was like, I gotta pack it with my stuff and everything, and I just absolutely love it. And but there
You
was
kept
one
it in
book.
immaculate condition.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why that's why I love this book, because it has that paper cover in there, but it has the this same artwork is on the hardcover as well too.
Hmm.
But yeah, I kept really good care of it and everything, and this is one of my favorite pieces to have and everything, and I do read it from time to time. And one of the things that really intrigued me was before the four was the timeline after Jedi. And because in the movies we had The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And but in this scenario, with because they had in comic books and stuff like that, um I'll read a little synopsis of it. Within
Okay.
days of it's called the New Republic, and within days of its victory at the Battle of Endor, the Rebel Alliance officially becomes the Alliance of Free Planets. A few weeks later, Mon Mothma formally issues the Declaration of a New Republic, which is signed by Mon Martha, Leia Organa, Boris Fela of Kothlas, Admiral Akbar, and representatives of Corellia, Kashyyyk, Sullust, and Elam. The 8 signaries, signatories of the New Republic Provisional Council, and work together to win hundreds of planets through diplomacy. 2.5 years later, the New Republic launches a series of attacks to capture the city planet Coruscant, and the Empire's political and military power becomes fragmented across the galaxy. Grand Admiral Thrawn, a high-ranking officer in Palpatine's Imperial Navy, refuses to recognize the New Republic. Reorganizing the remnants of the Imperial fleet, Thrawn launches a campaign of terror to reclaim the galaxy for the Empire. And this is what Grand Admiral Thrawn would have looked like if it was on film, which is that guy there with the red eyes.
Nice.
Now in this, I would have loved to see this version instead of The Force Awakens, in my opinion. I think Episode 7 should have been this. In my opinion. Especially you can do the Battle of Endor. 4 years after the Endor, Han Solo kidnaps Princess Leia when she receives a marriage proposal from Prince Isolde, a powerful Hapes consortium. Drawn closer during the events that ensue, Leia and Han return to Coruscant and marry. And Han and Leia actually had some kids, 3 kids, which was twins.
Mm-hmm.
There was twins and then another boy after. The first was the twins, a boy and a girl named Jaina and Jason, who would eventually later become Jedi Knights when they get older. And also, go ahead.
Something that I really enjoy about the Star Wars universe is like the alien names sound, somewhat alien. Akbar. I guess that might be, but they didn't go super crazy with trying to come up with bizarre futuristic names for things.
Yeah.
Luke, Leia, it was just like, oh, I can track with all of these people because I'm not trying to remember what in the hell their wacky name is. You know?
One of the things that they did keep in the new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, of the Return of Palpatine. Following the destruction of the second Death Star, Palpatine's consciousness spent over a year drifting across space. On reaching BISS, BYSS, he awakened and recuperated in the body of a clone, one of many kept in reserve. Because the clones can only contain his evil for a limited time, Palpatine strives to take possession of a strong Jedi body. So one thing that was that we seen in Rise of Skywalker was the clones and everything, and later on Emperor Snoke turned out to be is rumored to be a clone of Palpatine.
See, I did not know that.
Yeah,
I haven't.
That's the rumor.
I saw the first of the sequels, and then they started doing all those little separate movies and such, like Rogue One and the other things, that I just got lost. What do I need to watch? All of it? I don't have time.
Exactly. And there was also a time period when Luke Skywalker joined the dark side, and like I said, this sequel trilogy would have been a lot better than the one that we got in theaters and everything, because there's one here that says when Luke Skywalker finds Palpatine on BISS, he stays and surrenders to him while Han and Leia escape. Luke allows Leia to believe that he has joined the dark side. Determined to rescue her brother, Leia returns to BISS and discovers that he is attempting to destroy Palpatine and his clones. Luke and Leia combine their powers, but Luke and Leia combined their powers, but failed to prevent Palpatine from escaping. And yeah, that would have been, that really would have been awesome.
Was there a point? This is something that somebody told me, and I think it was before the movies came out. So I think this might have been from the books, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure what's considered canon or anything from there. But that Luke went and found an old Sith temple somewhere and just kind of took it over as his own place to do training and stuff.
Yeah, I heard that same thing too, and I think that was I think that's the place that they're talking about.
Okay.
And
yeah, that's what made me think of that. So
yeah, and believe it or not, during this time period, they don't mention anything about Grogu and Din Djarin and the Mandalorian and everything like that. So little fun factoid about that one as well too. You know, nothing about but there is talk about a bounty hunter team. As the galactic struggle continues, the bounty hunters Dengar and Boba Fett attempt to capture Han and Leia and collect on a bounty offered by the Hutts. When the bounty hunter's mission fails miserably, Dengar proclaims he will never work with Fett again. So that's the only bounty hunter synopsis that we get. And
wow. I thought Fett was the bounty hunter to be. I guess that.
Yeah.
Maybe
but
not.
apparently he's but yeah, they also I think they go into detail on how he escaped the Sarlacc pit. But
yeah.
which they never described in the book of Boba Fett. And you know what?
Did he use his jetpack?
I don't think so. Let's see. Battle of Endor. Nope. Prisoners of okay. Let's see. Boba Fett. Oh yeah, here it is, right here. Boba Fett lives. Accompanying Jabba to the Great Pit of Carkoon. That was the Sarlacc pit.
Mm-hmm.
Boba Fett attacks the rebels as they try to escape. A lucky shot from a blind Han Solo ignites Fett's jetpack, sending the mercenary tumbling into the waiting mouth of the Sarlacc. After several agonizing days, Fett blasts his way out of the creature, and is rescued by his fellow bounty hunter Dengar. So he didn't from the picture that they showed here, he had his flamethrower. I don't know if you can see it. He has his flamethrower, and he just and he's hanging inside the the Sarlacc pit, the Sarlacc, and he's just he's shooting out of it. So he's climbing out. And Dengar just happened to be there, and he saves him. So yeah, that's the only thing. So yeah, that's a good read right there.
That's very cool.
And in the New Jedi, they have a thing here of the New Jedi Order, which I'll read a little bit of as Luke's exploits introduce him to more Force-sensitive beings. He decides to train them in the ways of the Force to become Jedi Knights. Instead of attempting to recreate the former Jedi Order, Luke develops new teaching methods to encourage greater independence among his students. Excuse me. Who are expected to maintain unity and defend the worlds of the New Republic. After consulting with his sister Leia, Luke chooses the abandoned rebel base on Yavin 4 for the site of his Jedi Academy. One of his students, Kip Duran, falls under the spell of the spirit of the long dead Dark Lord Exar Kun, but finally prevails and becomes a Jedi Knight. Kip is among the first Jedi to encounter the most devastating threat to the New Republic, the Yuuzhan Vong, and also goes and shows that Luke got married, and the marriage of a Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker marry because Mara was once Luke's enemy. Many regard their union as symbolic of a bright future to the New Republic. And so yeah. So the students also mentioned he addresses the Jedi Lord Master Tion and the prospective knights Karana T, Stren, Kip Duran, and Doris 82. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, Luke and Leia's children are grown up at this point. Like their mother and uncle, Luke, the Solo children are strong with the Force. Nearly 2 years into the war against Yuuzhan Vong, the Jedi twins, Jacen and Jaina Solo, are 18, and their younger brother, Anakin Solo, is on his 16th year when they participate in a mission to eliminate the Yuuzhan Vong cloning labs that grow the Jedi hunting Voxen. Anakin sacrifices himself to destroy the Voxen. Anakin's death prompts Jaina to be temporarily drawn to the dark side and leaves Jacen to question the path of the Jedi. So that is some crazy stuff right there.
And yeah, I'd heard of some of that, and it's again like I never know what to trust. But
So,
now
yeah.
you've confirmed it with the official book. So
yeah, but yeah, like I said, this is a must read. If you're able to come across to it, it's a definitely must read. And so yeah, they pick some of the artwork in there from the some graphic novels and comic books and everything like that, and also some other novels as well too. So the novel, like I said, the books are a lot better than the movies, and everything. And there's another. Speaking of comic books, I got one that will pretty much close it off on, and that is Star Wars. This came out in 2015, I believe. I think this came out in 2015. No, 2014, around 2014, 2015. And let's see. Yeah, 2015. And this, from what I understand, this takes place before Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
And and I actually got this from Loot Crate at the time. At the time when Loot Crate was relevant, and I always got these stuff like this. They would have like a bunch of cool stuff. Now I don't know what the hell they do anymore because I dropped them a long time ago. Not too a while back because they had a little bit of a problem with orders. I wasn't getting my orders right and everything, and they were, from what I understand at the time, they were folding, but I don't know if they're coming back, if they ever made a comeback. But this book, yeah, I'll read it's called Book 1, Skywalker Strikes, and it's and they have the title crawl like they do in the movies and everything, which that's actually really cool. And they also do the A Long Time Ago in the Galaxy Far, Far Away, and 2-page spread of the Star Wars logo, which is which that's really cool. But I'll read the thing here. It is a period of renewed hope for the rebellion. The evil Galactic Empire's greatest weapon, the Death Star, has been destroyed by the young rebel pilot Luke Skywalker. With the Imperial forces in disarray, the rebels took to press their advantage by unleashing a daring offensive throughout the far reaches of space, hoping to defeat the Empire once and for all, and at last restore the freedom of to the galaxy. So this is part one, because it ends in you know, Luke Skywalker meeting Darth Vader for the first time, and before he learns the way of the Force that we get to know. And but yeah, this is actually a really good read. If you ever get a chance to find this, if you find this in like a comic book store or something, I highly recommend getting this book. It's really good, even though it's a Loot Crate exclusive. If you can find this anywhere, online, through eBay or whatever, definitely pick this up. I would give it like maybe 4 lightsabers out of 5. So big shout out to Splash Pages.
Yeah,
Big.
I'll keep a lookout for it. That does sound. Yeah, I need to get more education in on the Star Wars thing.
And the novels, if the novels actually do well of telling the stories. I once had a novel that took place during in between, during the events of Empire Strikes Back and heading on towards the Return of the Jedi. During that time period, it was called Shadows of the Empire. It's a good read, very good novel, and they introduced a character called Black Sun, and awesome character, and the way they described it, and they actually showed, they actually meant in the book also too. They mentioned how Luke got his green lightsaber. He constructed how he constructed a new lightsaber at that, during that time period, which led up to the events of Return of the Jedi. So, but yeah, it's and there was a character by the name of Dash Rendar who was a close personal friend of Han Solo. And but yeah, very good read if you ever come across that. I used to also have this other novel which was called X-Wing, and it was a Wedge. It was the Wedge Chronicles, and that one was a good read as well too. And it was about Wedge's time as a X-Wing pilot. So yeah, and also a definitely good read right there too, and which I also highly recommend. So yeah, those are good books right there to read and everything. And
you got to show off a couple more of the toys that you pulled out too.
Yes.
Because I see, when I was little, my neighbor had my neighbor had the whole collection with like the starships and all of the toys. And the way we would play is he would set me over in a corner with a little Leia doll. And he would just be like, well, that's the only female character, so you get to be the girl. You sit over there, and then I'm going to fight all the battles to go and save you. And so I just got to sit in the corner and watch him play with all of his toys. I never got to do anything. Oh, wow. Thank you. Always made me sad.
And yeah, and back then it was the toy company that did the Star Wars toys was called Kenner, and those toys were amazing. And they were huge. They were thick characters too. And
yeah,
everything.
I was sad I never got to play with them.
Yeah, I had the only Kenner. I had a couple of Kenner Star Wars figures. One was C-3PO that that would break apart and everything, like, you know, it was at the time where in Empire Strikes Back where he goes to pieces and everything like that. So he had like detachable parts, and at the time, you know, I was a little kid and I didn't know that he could, you know, that the, you know, one kid took the pieces off, and I was like, no, why did you do that, and everything. And it's like, but that I didn't at the time, I didn't realize that, you know, those were supposed to be like that. And but and I also
I
had the I also had this pig guard, one of the pig guards in from Return of the Jedi, and that was also pretty cool.
I had one of the R2s that stood about this tall, and then you could like open up the panel and pull in and out different discs that he had in him, or well, they were like squares or rectangles, but you pulled out and put in different information into him. He
Oh,
didn't do
nice.
anything. Like that was way back in the day before, you know, now they'd have you like when you put it in, it would probably project a hologram or something,
Yeah, yeah.
but this was back in the 80s, boys and girls, back before we had
Exactly.
all that technology.
Back then, where toys were toys, and it didn't bother with small parts choking children, because we as kids knew better. We
Yeah.
knew better than to eat small parts, even though they, you know, they say, yeah, they can still have the warning label and everything like that, but we knew better. And our Transformers were had a nice shiny gloss to them, not this plastic crap that that you see now.
I never got to play with those either. My stepbrother had some Transformers, and it was another one of those where you can look at them, but no, you're not allowed to play because you're a girl.
Yeah.
And I think that might be why I grew up to be a comic book and video game and D&D nerd, is just because I was told so many times as a kid, like, you're a girl, go play with a Barbie, you're a girl. And I was like, but your toys are cooler.
Yes.
Doesn't matter, you're a girl. So I'm like, guess what? Now I own all the cool stuff. So, and they're
Mhm.
like, yeah, but you're 47. Shouldn't you do something else with your life? I'm like, no, you know what? I'm a girl.
But we don't play with them. We don't
We
play with
look
them.
at them.
We
Every now
display
and then we hug
them.
them.
Yeah, people. I still get shit whenever I have this and said, "Oh, you still play with toys?" I was like, "How am I gonna play? How am I gonna play with this?" He's like welded into the, you know, he's welded into the base. He can't move.
I still have, I got stuff like the toys that were collectibles that then kind of broke down. I let kids play with on the rare occasions that children are over. But there's once this huge battle royale going on, and I had like I have a one of the Super Saiyan figures where you stick him on and he
Oh,
sits on his thing and his hair glows and it rah, 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 rah,
that's
rah.
awesome.
And I had a Max figurine and a bunch of hand puppets and finger puppets that I have. And then I have some giant Cthulhu's and stuff, like a hand puppet Cthulhu.
Nice.
And I have little secret agent Cthulhu over here.
Ooh,
And so one time, just so you know,
awesome.
I I had like a 5-year-old boy who was in heaven because he had all of these toys to play with, and he staged a battle royale in my living room of all of my different toys and stuff. And the Max threw Cthulhu across the room and ended up winning the entire battle. So in the entire comic book and Eldritch universe, the Max wins all.
There you go. There you go. And that design of the Max is actually really cool. You know,
Yeah.
I seen the cartoons of them, and it's like it's friggin' awesome. But the comic books does it does does a better job of depicting it. Like he's like nuts,
Oh,
nuts. I
the
like it.
figurine even had like fur attached to him.
Oh, oh,
It
nice.
Yeah, it was when like, and it came with a black and a white is. So you had one of each side of those. And then but it got just destroyed, and so it became a children's toy because, you know, There were so many other toys where they're like, "Can we play with that?" No, cannot touch that. But why is that? It's still in a box. Can I open it? No. That is why it is on a high shelf. You are not allowed to touch that either.
Yeah, like as I said before, I have like a bunch of pop vinyls, and they're in storage anywhere because I can't with this little space that I have, I can't store them anywhere, and it was a huge letdown. And but you know, but they're around somewhere because I have one box here in my room, and I have another box in the shed. So because that's where a lot of boxes are and everything.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's a small, we had a uh size down and everything, but that's a story for another time because I'm looking at the time, and I think it's time to call it a night here. And that's pretty much all the time that we have because we had a lot of fun. Oh yeah, there was some other Star Wars thing I want to talk about. Um,
Mhm.
Star Wars Jedi, so survival is out now and everything, and I haven't checked out that game and everything, but there's like mixed reviews on that game. I love the Lego Star Wars games. um those
Those
are
look
like
really awesome.
the sky the most recent one, the Skywalker saga. You can actually play right now on Xbox Game Pass, and it's a lot of fun. Absolutely a lot of fun.
When when we were little kids at one of my family reunions, we were all running around and making, playing pretend. And it was like, "Who are you?" And we'd shout out who we were. And the one kid was like, "I'm Luke Skywalker," because that's what he thought his name was. And I will never forget that because it was so cute. I was older at that point, and he was one of the little kids. "I'm Luke Skywalker. I work around in the sky."
That's awesome. That is real awesome.
It was so cute.
It is. It is. It's really cute.
But I mean, they anybody, little one, everybody who sees it, like you said, when you were in diapers watching stuff, it's just like, it's so amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Even the older things, it's just like still like, oh, that's so pretty, that's so well done for the time that it was done in, and yeah.
And then it's funny. I started watching Star Wars when I was in diapers, and and then now and then now when I'm older, wearing diapers when I'm older, old and gray, fragile and everything, I'm still going to be watching Star Wars and everything like that. I don't care because this franchise is amazing,
Oh, it's gonna
and
keep going.
and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it, and and whether it's good or bad or anything in between, the Star Wars saga is always, the Star Wars franchise is always going to be my favorite, whether it's in books, comic books, video games, or movies, or series, or some sort of series. I'm gonna love all of it, and I absolutely do. And I actually have a love for Jar Jar Binks, and a lot of people give me shit on that too. And it's like, you know what, Gungan lives matter too. It's like there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Jar Jar Binks. That's the character. There was, you
Jeremy's
know,
got your back, man.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that character. And it's like that's the character. It's like there's nothing, yeah, it was played by Ahmed Best, but you know what? That was it. It can be played by anybody because the character, Jar Jar Binks was just a bumbling character, just a bumbling side character, and he was only there for not only for comic relief, but for to entertain the kids, to get kids involved in it. And in a way it worked, and some, even the younger kids was like, who the hell is this character?
I
Like,
I believe thoroughly in the Jar Jar Binks being a Sith Lord conspiracy theory.
I've been hearing that
It,
same thing too.
I will send it
Oh,
to you because I am
yeah,
all about that. If you guys don't know about it, just look it up. Look for Reddit, and Jar
yeah,
Jar is a Sith Lord. And I mean, they break down. They have all these clips from
yeah,
the
yeah. I
movies
heard that.
and stuff.
I seen that
It's
same. I think I seen it
amazing.
too. And you know, yeah, I've been seeing that around. And yeah, and not only that, episode two. He pretty much when he was acting senator, acting senator and everything, he was like, oh my god, what did Jar Jar do? it's like he's it's like he started this and was like
He single-handedly handed the universe over to them.
yep, he pretty did. He was like, the Clone Wars started because of Jar Jar Binks.
But maybe it's because he wanted them to. That's
Yeah,
that's and the whole thing behind it is everybody hated the character so much that they dumped what they were going to do with him and then rewrote the next
yeah,
two movies. But there's proof here and there that maybe it really was what he wanted to do.
yeah.
So
But this friend, regard regardless of the contrary and everything like that, this is going to be, the Star Wars franchise is, going to be here even after I'm gone, and it's, we're still gonna love it no matter what, and it's going to entertain a younger generation, and a whole new generation is going to continue that tradition of love or hate it, but it's still going to make a lot of money, and we owe it all to one person that made it happen, George Lucas. Yeah, he sold it to Disney and everything, but let's put it this way, you know what? He was the Walt Disney of the galactic universe. So, and
yeah,
he had a vision. He had a vision, and it was either going to make bank or make him homeless, and it worked out really well. And with that being said, George Lucas, thank you.
salute.
And on that note, now we need I think it's time to call it a night here.
Alrighty.
And Carrie, thank you so much for being a part of this, and we're on this wild ride of
Thank you for having me.
and you're always welcome here anytime. And real quickly, where can where can anybody find you?
Oh, once
And,
again, Carrie Sanders on Facebook. Look for the Crow. On the PBDC network, I am known as Delphine Galdracaca, which is me possessed by a crow named Delphine. And yeah, every now and then I show up on the Dorkening network as well. And now I'm here. So
yes, definitely.
look around, buy my books.
Yes,
Go buy my books. They're good.
yes,
They're
definitely.
fun. They're anthologies, so you get a lot of other people too.
Awesome. And do you have anything coming up on your shows or anything like that? Any upcoming shows?
Yeah, actually, we've started a new I do one show that's called The Clutch of Personalities, and every month on that I interview a new author and or filmmaker, a storyteller in general. And during all of those, during the live feeds, if you're on, you comment, you get put into a drawing to get free merchandise from the person who's on the show. That I pay for it, but you get some ebooks, and as well if it's an author, as well as some signed copies and stuff go out, special packages. Um, And we also started doing another show called Unwrapped. And on the 14th of this month, I am going to be unwrapping Steve Van Samson's new Black Honey Ultimate Edition. So we're going to be pulling out all of the Rough House merchandise that him and Derek Rook put together for that. And that's going to be super fun.
That's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And,
yeah, Steve is just amazing. I had him on the clutch already, so
yeah. And
the
books that I won, I'm still in the process of reading them and everything, and I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying them.
Awesome.
I gotta give Steven a shout out and everything. He did a very those books are awesome.
Oh, he's just amazing. He does everything. Like he can sing, he can write, he can narrate, he can draw. He's everybody from that area. I've done a couple of people, and all of you Northeasterners are just like Renaissance men. It seems like it's like if you're moving to the New England area at all, you must know how to do at least 3 things in the arts category or something really obscure.
Exactly, and they say that in they say a wise man once said, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And even though we're not in New York, you can still make it anywhere in the Northeast too.
Oh yeah,
especially in New England. So
this is a slightly odd. Just a little quick. I'm from Nebraska. Our letters are NE for abbreviation, and people constantly think that that's New England. And I'm like,
yeah.
No. sadly not. No, I live in the middle of the country in the plains. So
yeah.
We have nothing. But yeah, so that's what I have coming up. So check me out on the 14th, and you'll love it because it's Steve. I'm going to get him on the show, and he mentioned that he might read one of the stories from the new book. So
I will definitely check that out. I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan, and you do an amazing job on the shows that I've seen already and everything, and they're awesome shows and everything from what I've seen and everything, and so but it's always awesome. And so yeah, lots of luck later on down the road and everything like that and all that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anytime. And be sure to follow me here on Twitter at TomDog247. And if you miss any of tonight's episode, do or do not. There is no try. Thumbs up the video if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. Comment down below. What was your first introduction to the Star Wars franchise? What was your first Star Wars introduction? Could be the books, the comic books, or movies or television, or even a video game. Let us know in the comment section down below. And ringy dingy that bell so you can stay notified of what I'm going to be doing next. And be sure to support small streamers like myself and show their love by doing the most important thing that you can do for all small streamers like myself. And we will love you forever if you do so. And that is face hug that subscribe button. We will see you all again here next week. I'll see you all here again next week. Same Tom Dog time, same Tom Dog channel X. And for Carrie, this is Tom Dog saying take care, so long, and may the fourth with you. Have a good night, everybody. Love you all.